Yeah, an hour and a half out of Salt Lake, and I was at the front and it still stopped. They let us through and it stopped again, yeah.
Well, we know how important you are. We held the meeting.
I don't know if Andrew's gonna make it.
Well, we welcome you to our meeting tonight. It's 6:07 and we're meeting in the upper chambers, council chambers at the Twila County Courthouse. First order of business to elect a 2025 COG chair and vice chair. I'll have it open for nominations.
Hey, I nominate John Olson,
For what?
be the chair of the COG.
Wanna do it again, old guy?
I can if no one else is gonna do it, so.
I'll second that motion, we close nominations.
Okay, no other nominations?
I
So,
move that we appoint John Olson as the chair by acclamation and move forward.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'll do her. Vice chair, is there any nominations for vice chair?
Nominate Brian Johnson.
Brian's not here, he's a good one to nominate.
That's why I did it.
I'll second it, I think he'll do it again if anyone else wants to do it. Any other nominations?
Move that we close nominations and accept Brian Johnson by acclamation.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, this meeting's gonna go fast.
Unless Brian hits me when I come in, we're good.
Okay, at this time, we'll take roll. We'll start over here, and if you'll just state your name and who you represent.
I'm Marisa Manzione, with the Twila City. I'm just filling in for Dave McCall, so don't be used to
Thank you for being here.
Debbie Nguyen, Twila City Mayor.
Kendall Thomas, Twila County Council, filling in for Eric until he arrives.
I'm Scott Wardle, Twila County Council.
Jared Hamner, Twila County Council.
I'm John Olson, Mayor of Vernon.
Yeah, Chris Lemaire, Grants.
Sheldon Birch, Berta City Council Chair.
Adam May, Stockton Mayor.
Kathleen Von Houten, Lake Point City Council.
Mark Ernst, Superintendent, Twila County School District.
Brian Peterson, I'm the Deputy Garrison Manager at Dugwood Proving Ground.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Okay, are there any public comments at this time for this group? Anybody? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on.
Mr. Chairman, could we move item 5A to the end of the agenda, just to give Andrew time to get here? And if he's not here, then Wayne, I think he's been in contact with both of us, then we'll move forward with that.
Yes, we can do that. That wouldn't be any problem at all. This time then, we'll move to adopt the minutes from our December meeting. Megan sent those out. I hope you had a chance to read through them. Are there any changes that need to be made? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the meetings from December. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's taken care of. The item next is to appoint, says our Utah Transit Local Advisor Karen Cronin is up for renewal and seeking reappointment. She has advocated for and worked diligently with UTA trustees and executive directors to make the UTA on-demand services available in Twila County. I think most of you probably got a letter from her. It's up to us. I guess it's our responsibility to appoint that person. Any discussion?
Yeah, can we hear, Karen's here, so would it be nice to hear from Karen?
Thank you. Time's yours. If you'll go up front, we'll let you talk up there in the mic.
I'm just here to answer questions.
Well, if we have any, we'll just throw them your way.
Karen says that we need to move this meeting to Maddox's.
I said, we should have a meeting in Maddox, that's up in my backyard, and be happy to host it if you ever wanna come up that way.
Next meeting.
Let's do it. Are there any questions?
You've done a great job, thank you.
The on-demand here at Tooele County is doing really, really well, continuing to grow, and now turn the mic on.
There you go.
Now, I'm trying to work with the UTA to take this model and also put it in the southern part of Box Elder County. Not all of Box Elder County participates with UTA funding, so it's just Brigham City South. So you guys have made it look so good that they want it up there, so we're gonna be working to try and get the on-demand up in that area.
Tell this group a little bit about, I mean, I'm not familiar with the advisory board, or how does it work? Do you meet with UTA officials on a regular basis? Tell us a little bit about your,
We do.
Appointment.
Back in 2018, the legislature created the position of a local advisory council member to give the constituent communities another voice in UTA to make sure that UTA governance and guidance is going the way the communities would like. So you guys also have Jeff Acerson, who is trustee, and he represents Tooele County, and he was meaning to be here. He's back in that traffic. He said that he was supposed to be here about 10 minutes early, and now it looks like he said that his clock is saying he might get here by 8. That's how backed up it is. But you have Jeff Acerson as one of the trustees representing Tooele County, and then I, as a local advisory council member, am another voice for you and advocate. And Tooele County and Box Elder County share the same LAC member, so I represent both counties that way. And there's meetings quarterly that I go to, if not more often, to listen to the planning at UTA and try and represent your needs and desires. And that's where, if you have any issues or ideas, if you'll give me a call, I'm happy to represent those. And one way to try and help us all feel comfortable with each other is to meet together often. So I've been down here a couple times to go to lunch. That's where I said I'm happy to host lunch up in Box Elder if you want to come that way. But either way, I'd be happy to come down here anytime you need. My phone number is on the letter or email. So that's kind of the background of it. But my job is to represent you and to advocate for you.
all right, thank you. Any questions?
Just a
Kendall?
comment.
I know Sissy well, and she always talks about the support she gets from UTA. So thank you. I'm sure you're a critical part of that. You and Jeff both representing us in the county, and so thank you. Appreciate that. But don't poach Sissy to go work for the state and UTA. So
Okay.
that's all. Thank you, Karen.
We'll take that very seriously.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mayor Critchlow has a comment.
I have just had a lot of people comment how effective this on-demand has been for them, the senior citizens, the, people who need to get to Tooele, to the buses. It's working very well as far as the people that I've talked to, so.
Right now, Southern Box Elder has a bus that goes through, and people are heard about how you guys are using it here, and it's the citizens that are asking, can we have something like they have down in Tooele? So your secret sauce is getting out there, and people want what you have. So coming up probably in May-ish is the Transit Academy put on by UTA. And I will reach out and invite you if you're available. We'd love to have you come in, and in just a couple hours to kind of give you a heads up of how things are going and some of the strategic planning going forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would like to nominate and appoint Karen Cronin, that's it, to the UTA Board of Trustees.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we appoint Karen Cronin as Utah Transit Local Advisor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is appointment of the 2025 COG Transportation Subcommittee members. Currently, the committee is chaired by Commissioner or Council Member Eric Stromberg. Members of the committee are Scott Wardle, John Olson, Neil Critchlow, and Dave McCall. And I think Kathleen ought to be on there.
Well, on the back.
Oh, I ought to look on the back, yeah. Craig Smith and Kathleen Von Hatten, yes. So that's the committee.
Chairman, I've spoken with Dave McCall, and he is finding it difficult to be able to make those meetings, and I would be happy to take his place.
Okay. Do we need to go through each name, or do we want to just make changes as needed? What would be the recommendation of this group?
You know, John, I don't know if we need two representatives from the county. Eric's done a really good job representing that, so I would withdraw my name from that consideration.
Okay,
Unless you or you wanna be on
That's
it,
fine.
Kendall. So,
so do I have a motion with what's been discussed? Substituting Mayor Wynn for Dave McCall and dropping Scott Wardle.
so moved.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the committee members then will be Eric Stromberg, John Olson, Neil Critchlow, Debbie Wynn, Kathleen Von Hatten, and Craig Smith. Okay. That leaves us to only one item left.
You want me to start, Wayne, or would you like to go?
Okay, Scott, go ahead.
First of all, I'm a very poor substitute for Andrew. I think, Wayne, you and I would probably feel less than Andrew at any time. We've had a really good year with WFRC and our appointments. One of the things that has become critical, and Jared and those who attended the dinner Monday night had a great discussion about what our priorities are as we go into the legislative session, but those priorities transportation-wise carry over to WFRC. And every year that we go through a reappointment or appointment of members to the different subcommittees, more than ever, our voices are critical in this. As we talk about Mid-Valley Highway, SR 36, SR 201, all of those issues, it is vital that we are in those subcommittee meetings and committee meetings to make sure that our voice is heard, our priorities are presented. And so, in accordance with what we talked about last month, the tentative members that are presented on the paperwork that's been given today would be those who would be reappointed unless anyone wants to not sit in those committees that's currently on the list. Is there anyone who might not want to sit on the committees that is on the list? So,
Well, you have this paper in
I
front
got
of
a
you.
little comment about it too, Scott.
okay, so Kendall, you don't want to sit on that committee, or do you have a comment?
My comment,
Okay.
it's not that I won't be on it, because I've been on it a number of years. All the discussions I've ever been in stops at the Twillock Salt Lake County line. There is no discussions ever in the 6 years I've been on, I think it's been 6 years I've been on this committee, does it ever come into Twillock County. It's always referred to, UDOT takes care of that. So I sat in a meeting today, and I got a nice invite from Andrew. And I'm sure it went out to everybody on that board. I mean, it's all the mayors and everybody in Salt Lake. He says, hey, let me know if you're gonna be there so we can have a quorum. So I did, and we wanna be supportive, all of us do, that's why you're here tonight. But I go in there and there's not one thing for me meaning Twillock County or Morgan County. Never. So all I'm saying, if you really need me, I can continue serving there, but for what purpose?
Well, I think you've hit a nail on the head, and one of the things, Wayne, please jump in. As we put forth plans, and I think part of it is UDOT hasn't made us a priority the last 2 years. In fact, they've taken us off the priority list, which would facilitate some of those discussions. Some of the issues on the Regional Growth Committee are the transit-oriented developments, which we are not part of. Therefore, but we have tax base that goes into that, therefore we have a spot on that committee. I do think that one of the questions that would be really important for all of us to take to our committees is, what do we do to make Tooele County and the cities in Tooele County a priority to this committee this year? And have those discussions. I think it starts with the committee chairs and with Andrew and his wonderful staff. I know that Andrew and I, as we've talked the last 3 weeks, have had a very strong discussion. He's been a great proponent of what we will be doing. It's interesting to me, though, the voice doesn't just deal with us here because we're being left out of other discussions. There was one that was put forward today by the governor, and I just sat and shook my head and thought, you're going to have a discussion about power development, and you don't have the largest county in the state even in the room. We talked about the Great Salt Lake. We don't have anyone from our county in the room. And that is an issue that I think that part of my discussions with Andrew, and as we're having those with our legislative heads, we know that we don't have, we've got a voice in the Senate. I'll say that for Grantsville and the north end of the county, the northwest end. We don't have a voice in the Senate right now. That's become very clear. We've got great representatives, but I think we have got to be on the Hill advocating these priorities in person. I know that we've hired lobbyists, but hiring lobbyists is not enough. Kendall, you've done a great job, Mayor Wynn. Neil, I know that your voice has been heard and Grantsville's voice quite a bit on the Hill. I think we've got to make our voices heard now.
Can I make one comment, jump in there?
Please do.
Jump
No,
in there.
please do.
Monday night at the meeting that Councilman Jared Hamner organized with, many of you were there. I talked to Sandal and Bridger, Belender, or Senator or Representative, about gravel. And there's a big discussion. Salt Lake County has run out of gravel. And I've talked to them before the Monday night's meeting, and I said, this is important because they're coming to Tooele. And it's been said in the news articles, I didn't hear this personally, well, we'll go to Tooele County and get our gravel. Well, if anybody know 36 is plugged full of gravel trucks and all kinds, I don't know where they're all coming and going, and all the semis and traffic. If they're coming to Tooele County, and I mentioned that to them, I said, we want to be in the room. We want to have, Grantsville's got, Lake Point's got gravel pits. We all got gravel pits. I said, how come we're not involved in these discussions going on right now? And one of our elected officials told me, he says, well, we got Salt Lake County in there, and we got on the I think there was 5 major gravel producers. Why in the hell aren't we there?
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head as we talk about this. I think when it comes to these committees, and Kendall, I think we've got to go up front with our lobbyists, with Lincoln and his team on that issue. But to move forward, I think that when we talk SR 36, the widening of SR 36, the new speed lane going on the east side of the road going north into Salt Lake, the speed lane catching us up onto 21st South. And the saddest part of today is all the transportation problems at getting into this valley were on the Salt Lake County side. Every one of them.
I'm glad they're planning for the growth committee.
But I think that we've got some issues there, and that becomes, and so our voices need to be heard on these committees. And I don't know how to say this other than, and many of you may laugh, an annoying voice gets to be heard. I think we need to beat the drum in every meeting. Mid-Valley Highway is our priority, if that is what we are united on. We are united at the legislature on it, we are united with WFRC on it, we are united in how we do grants and the processes that go forward. SR 36 must be a priority, because the traffic there, I've stopped taking SR 36 in the morning now. Quite simply because it takes me 10 minutes longer to go from South Tooele to Lake Point than it does to take Mid-Valley Highway. And it's 4 miles longer for me to do that. And so we have got to make these things, because the growth is coming. I am very terrified at the fact of the last time California had a major issue in housing, our home prices skyrocketed by about 14%. There are 15,000 homes destroyed, that many of them will never be insurable again in those areas. And California's come to Utah to buy houses with cash. A friend of mine got a cash offer on $1 million home yesterday. $1 million home cash offer. And so we've got to prepare for that growth. So based on that, Wayne, would you add anything else?
Thank you, Councilman. I would just echo that, two things, I guess, echo one and add one comment. I do think it's important to speak up at these meetings and let your voice be heard. Doesn't guarantee solutions, but I think it increases opportunities for dialogue, and it's important to make your voice be heard. Second, I'll just note that I think with many of these committees, even if they do not appear to be addressing Tooele County needs directly, I think there are topics, not all the topics, but some of the topics have opportunities for representatives from Tooele County to learn from the experiences that are going on and how elected officials are attempting to deal with growth and transportation priorities, outside of Tooele County. So I think there are opportunities to learn and be engaged, and also be a voice. I guess a third thing would be a voice with elected or your representatives. Some of the issues that WFRC committees tackle influence outcomes at the legislature that affect Tooele County, and so I think that's perhaps a third comment that I'd make.
Thank you, Wayne.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment?
I'm not the chairman. He's the
Oh,
chairman.
okay, you're trying.
I'm just presenting.
Okay, you're presenting. So, Mayor Olson, based upon the good recommendation, how we need to have a seat at the table, I will accept reappointment to that group committee.
And just, in Scott's conversation, I had a opportunity to talk to the governor today about, I says, you have to finish Mid-Valley Highway. Quit messing around. We gotta get it done. Now, I don't know how much pull he has, Jeff, but, that's where we're at, so.
So one last comment that Andrew and I talked about, and this has been true of almost any meeting, and Debbie, you and I've sat on the same committee. I know that we travel. I know that most of us are part-time officials, but if we can't attend the meetings, we need to get in touch with our alternate so we have a voice in those meetings. But we need to have a voice in every meeting. So with that, unless anyone wants to shift off, yeah.
I am on the Active Transportation Committee,
Mhm.
and I've been there for several years, and I'm happy to stay, but I can only participate virtually because of the timing of the meeting.
That's still
So if there's somebody else who wants that opportunity, I would be happy to. I can still attend, but
It's the only good thing that came out of COVID.
The virtual.
And virtual attendance is absolutely as acceptable as anything else, so.
I'm not on any committee and I don't need to be on a committee necessarily, but if you have someone in mind that, or a spot, I'm willing. I am probably the least qualified in the room, but I'm willing to learn and try, but we do have an ERDA representative on one of the committees already, so.
So I guess the question is there anyone that we know of that doesn't want to sit on the committees? I have not had anyone talk to me, so.
Dave agreed to stay on his and Ed Hansen also on his.
Perfect. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion that we adopt the WFRC transportation recommendation, or WFRC committee members as constituted and presented before us tonight to move forward for 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Twilla County WFRC committee members as constituted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. At our last meeting, I made a point that if you have COG monies that, or COG projects that are gonna be extended out over another year, to please get with Megan and let her know how you're progressing on those. And I just want to acknowledge Twilla City for doing that. Thank you very much. They got their information in, so, you know, if you have any 2024 or 2023 funds even that haven't been spent yet for COG, then please get with Megan and let her know. Send her a letter or whatever, and let her know what your plans are, please. Okay, are there any other comments? If not, we'll go around the room and.
Go around the room. And you want to start on that end? and
We'll
get-
start on that end. Marissa, do you have anything? Mayor Wynn.
Okay, Wayne, you opened the door. You said, let your voice be heard. Whether it's politically correct or not. We had a really wonderful event on Monday night, and where we could speak one-on-one with our legislators. And I felt that the ones that were there were very attentive, they're listening, they care. If they're not up to speed on something, they're willing to learn. And so that was a great event. But we have a senator that will not come to our valley. He will not respond to texts, emails, or even return phone calls at this point. It has been several months since I spoke with him. I know he represents Twilla City, and I'm not sure where the boundaries are, if there's anything outside of the city, but 38,000 residents, and I'm not saying all of them voted, but he represents those people. And I don't know what his whole issue is, but he is saying that he can't get anything done at the Senate because he's been bullied. Nobody listens to him, and that he will not put anything in writing because he doesn't want it to be grammar requestable. And I had a little discussion about that. That if you're not putting anything in writing, you shouldn't. What are you worried about? Again, it's been several months. I reached out to him again when I heard that he was not going to attend the Monday meeting. And I texted, I emailed, I called, nothing. So I am very frustrated, but I will let you know that following the meeting, I went up to Senator Sandel and said, could you be my senator? Would you help? And he did not even hesitate to say, you bet, you call me for anything. I already had his number, but I confirmed that with him, and he just said, I'll represent you in any way that I can. That to me is very frustrating. And so I would encourage everyone to send him a message. I'd love to see it on the news. It's not right. It isn't fair that you elect someone who will not be, is not willing to even listen to you. I just thought of myself, if I made some comments and the Senate didn't like me and said, we're not going to listen to you anymore, that would just make me want to fight harder for my constituents. So I'm very, very frustrated by it. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. If you don't want to represent us, resign. Get out of there. So,
Why would he run?
so he's got 2 years left. Yeah. I did know that he had run for another office. I think it was Salt Lake County. Was it
Yeah.
Salt Lake County? He didn't win that election. Big surprise. But at this point, like I say, I'm very frustrated because this legislative session is important to all of us, and I feel like Tooele, and I'm sure we're not the only county, but we don't have as many residents. We've got a lot of land, not as many people, and so we have to fight to be heard anyway with good representation. So anything that you can do to send a message, talk to the right people, maybe we can get him to listen to us, if nothing else. The next is, I appreciate your willingness to let me fill in for Dave's spot on the third quarter sales tax, at least on this committee. I would really love to see at COG very early in the year that we each bring what our projects or our priorities are. I believe there is strength in numbers. And rather than make the COG third quarter sales tax be competitive between our entities, that we talk about what is the most important? What are our top three? How could we use this money more effectively to impact all of our residents instead of just saying, well, we've got this many on Drewby Road. Maybe we could have used that 2.whatever million we had for another road that would have served more. I appreciate it very much, and the road's almost done. But I will say, I just think that maybe we could be all on the same page and really discuss and talk about ways before we get to that point where we're all submitting an application, we get points for it, and then it is a competition. And instead, let's work together. The last item that I have is, we're not really quite to the point yet, but it may come soon. I have a meeting again at the end of the month with UDOT and the Army Depot. We're still working on getting the easement through the Army Depot project or property for the Mid-Valley Highway project. Last year, at one point, the Transportation Commission came here in this room and held their regular meeting. And they talked about, they loved the presentation because they said, Mid-Valley's, yeah, we gotta get Mid-Valley done. A couple meetings before that, there was an appropriation asked for a request for $500,000 to get the easement through the Army Depot. I knew the day of the commission meeting that it was not gonna cost $500,000 because I had been working with the Army Depot. It has now been verified. The cost for the easement is only to pay for the salary and the employee wages of the people at the Army Depot who have put time into this. The invoice was finalized. It's just under $10,000. Wow. So what I would like to do, and I asked UDOT, could you take the other $490,000 and use it for the next step? Could we get infrastructure of any kind? Could we get the road started somehow, designed, something going? And they said, oh no, that has to go back to the commission. So I would like to, when we get to that point, that we request of the commission to give us the whole 480 that you didn't spend and let us use it to further on the project. And that may help to spur another encouragement to find some more money somewhere to keep it going. Otherwise, we have been told 7 to 10 years at a minimum before it will even be looked at again, is what the team is telling us. So, all right, that's all I have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Hey, just a follow up on that, and I want to give Mayor Wynn a big shout on it because we've been working really hard with UDOT, the Army, and who else?
UDOT and the Army.
UDOT and the Army.
and
It seemed like
Tooele
there's a whole
City.
bunch of people.
That's the three of us.
And the third, the county's involved in that.
You are now.
Yeah. Okay, so.
You are. You're
that-
on the meetings. I appreciate it.
So, that's been, we have a report, we didn't have one in December, but the fourth Monday of every month, and Andy joins in on that too. So shout out to the mayor for pushing this along and collaborative working together. That's nice we're that close, but there's more going in the fire. But Neil, when you bring up Scott, he can go faster down Mid Valley. We need the whole damn road finished. And we gotta get out on the radar. I know it's gonna take a long time, but if we keep pushing it, the squeaky voice, you know, they'll tell us no, absolutely no. We haven't heard absolutely no, because none of us understand no in Twilla County. We deserve it, we want it, we gotta have it, kind of deal. So that's all it is, but thanks Debbie for your Mayor Wynn, for your leadership on that.
I don't have a lot. I drove Drew Bay Road, so smooth. It was awesome. I absolutely loved that and saw the benefit of some of the projects. Good to see them come to fruition. I think the other thing that I would just want to say, and this is, just because we're a council of governments, it's not on transportation. Kendall, the mayor, and I had the opportunity to join in an active shooter exercise. Hey, Kathleen, were you?
I didn't, I was after for the follow-up.
I would just encourage when those invitations come, because when we talk about funding, we talk about what does it look like. I think that from my perspective, I think that I know I have an intellectual understanding, but I have no understanding of wisdom. And what that did to open my eyes to how we protect our schools and our businesses, and what our first responders face. And this included not only those in policing and in the sheriff's department, but in the ambulatory services, the fire departments, when they go into rescue, absolutely shocked me. And I know that there will be another one coming up at Grantsville High School. I know that they're in the planning, I guess, right now. But to be an observer of that, and when we sit down and we talk about the need for public safety in all of its components, it's absolutely critical we understand that that is a side of it. But in an emergency, and whether it's that type of exercise, the semi coming down, SR 36, the multi-county agency response was absolutely critical. If we have an earthquake, our county will increase immediately as long as the bridges are intact, because we will become the distribution center for Utah. And so those things, I think we have to get an understanding of from a leadership perspective when we talk about what do mutual aid agreements look like, how do we help one another. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to our first responders. The Army had their people. It was stunning to watch their tactical teams. Everyone just come together. And so I just wanted to say thank you to that and encourage everyone to see it.
Two things that the mayor referred to the meeting on Monday night. Thank you for everyone that came. Actually had two contacts with our elected officials that had appreciation for having that. And one of them actually told Box Elder that they would like to have their priorities beforehand, so we set a good example. So thanks for those that participated. Second thing is I attended a location managers meeting as for film, so the Film Commission, and they actually highlighted Twilla County for being a great county and cities to work with when they're trying to do some commercials out at the raceway and different things like that, Grantsville. Because they brought up some problems that they have with BLM, with Snow Canyon, and they said, Twilla County, can you talk to them how easy it is to work with? So it was nice to hear a compliment from the Film Commission on how easy it is to work with and be able to get films out here and quickly have them record. So thank you for working together and being collaborative with each other.
Thank you. I don't really have anything. Mayor Critchlow?
You know, I want to tell you that what Jeff has done for Grantsville and the committee that's been working with us, we have regular meetings with them, and they have really been assisting us, and I wanna give him a shout out for the things that are coming into that. But my question is, what's going on with the depot would like to get their trucks out of the north gate? What's the hang up on the right of way to get them through that section that I guess belongs to the county, Andy, and
It does, and we've been working on an alignment. There's some property issues right there. There's that property that's for sale, that there's a dispute on where that property line is, and so we've been trying to work that out because that kind of crosses over that property line. We're trying to straighten that out, and we may have to do some swapping there, but we've seen the design. We've been working with UDOT on that as well. So,
I think that is such a
Absolutely.
that's the best option. To not have the munitions go down the main street of Twila City this is just the way to get it out of here, the fastest, easiest way. So whatever I can do to help.
Very good.
Anything else?
No.
So,
Just a quick comment, and maybe maybe I should just direct this to Marisa in private conversation, but since you're on that active transportation committee, that's something that's prominent in my mind as I think about planning through the county. A number of the active transportation projects or potential active transportation projects for the county are gonna run through ERDA, and we'd like to be a partner in that and know that at least I'm in favor of such and wanna be cooperative, so let's stay in touch.
Excuse me, so the health department, Jeff Coons is retired. Has a new director that's in place. First meeting within this month with the new director, Brian Slade's retired at the end of this month, so.
Nothing for that.
I just want to say thanks for the support, me and also the school district, as our new buildings get closer. It just really makes me reflect on community support, how important that is for all of us, but especially for our school district. So thank you so much for the support that I feel for the students in our district.
Dudley?
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Nothing. All right, if there's nothing else, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.